Living Adaptive.
The goal is to adapt and thrive despite the adversity you face.
You're going to have that little voice inside of you trying to push yourself.
I set a vision for myself and now I'm seeing it come to fruition.
I'm grateful for losing my leg.
There's just some things you must endure in life.
You might crash. You might fail.
You can find a purpose in your suffering.
I'm not special. I've just decided that I'm not going to stop.
You do everything you possibly can.
We want to change the world.
I'm going to adapt to it and make it the way it works for me.
Take what it is from life that you want and enjoy it.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is Scott Davidson. This is Living Adaptive. Remember, go to living_adaptive on Instagram. We're really building that out. Also, go to our Facebook page, share it. I don't take sponsors. Like in this case, we have a person that's actually producing a product for the adaptive industry. There's no monetary gain here whatsoever. This is just a great story. But I don't take sponsors. I don't do any of that. So go ahead and share our stuff out there. We're trying to build out that Facebook side. And then we've got this audio audience. We're trying to shift a little, maybe half of them over to video if we can, whatever you feel like doing, whatever your interests are in terms of audio or video, but we want to build that sucker out. So we've got this YouTube channel going out. You're also going to see vlog posts of my everyday life, man, as a parent with my own challenges and doing my own thing. And so go check that out. So it's a lot of fun. Anyways, today we got on Kelly Twichel. Kelly is like a really interesting story. And in my time being around a lot of adaptive products, a lot of adaptive things, like Kelly kind of sticks out as somebody that received a ton of attention in terms of like having a really big heart and also creating a very interesting product. So Kelly, what's up? How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And I'm excited to be on your podcast and kind of share my story. So I appreciate it.
Are you in La Jolla? Where are you? Like
right now I'm in Mission Valley.
Oh, that's nice. So you actually live in a good place, unlike 98% of the people listening here or watching. Yeah, I'm in Vegas, but my brother used to live in La Jolla, so I spent a lot of time there. It's a really great place. So like I was up in Mission Valley, Mission Beach, all the missions out there in San Diego. So like it's a really great spot. But like let's get to this. Like let's hit it right off. Like what is it? Tell us, what is it? What does it make it that Beach Trax, now Access Trax, has shifted over to like becoming this product that everybody loves, but then everybody likes you? How did you build a relationship with the adaptive community? How did you make it happen that you're very relatable, very cool to be around?
Well, that's a great question. I think that's kind of $1 million question right there, as far as how can someone, establish a product, establish a company, and establish a brand that people relate to, especially in the adaptive world. And I think that I have a unique perspective because of my occupational therapy background. And, it really lends to truly understanding so much more about my customers than what maybe just a product engineer or, an entrepreneur typically might understand. And so I'm able to dive deeper into some of the challenges, some of the needs, as well as connect. I think that beyond just being an occupational therapist, as a person, I really care about the people that I serve. And I find that I just want to be friends with all of my customers and just kind of see their journey and see them excel in adaptive sports or leisure and recreation. So really, truly, those are the two biggest things, is having a background in healthcare and then just being genuine and being wanting to connect with those people.
All right, you said challenges. It had to have been super challenging to get this off the ground. OT school isn't cheap, first of all. Yeah. Everybody I know comes out with a ton of student loan debt. And then also there's a lot of bare days while you're in OT school in terms of like having money and being able to survive. Then you're in California. Like how tough was it? How tough was the challenges to get through this?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult to try to build a product and a company while still in school, no matter what school you're going to, you've probably put all your savings into paying for classes and all of that. So I was in that boat. I didn't have really a savings account, and you can't just go get a full-time job while you're in school. So we got creative, and part of that was looking for grant opportunities. And as a student, you have the unique opportunity to get a lot more grants than you would if you were graduated and out of school.
Yep.
I always encourage people to just ask those questions of the people on campus, Also ask the questions in your community. There's a lot of really great grant opportunities out there. You just have to find them. So just keep searching. And we did that through a global business plan competition that my school was a part of. We were the first students in the entire campus of school, network of schools of St. Augustine that had ever competed in this event. So it was really exciting to become finalists and win some grant funding to help do prototyping for that.
Yeah, you got a lot of checks. You carry a lot of checks out there in the community. I see you with your latest checks. We'll get in that in a second. What was the worst meals you had while you were like starving, or you were just coming up?
I was actually really lucky. I didn't have to resort to the top ramen and cheese crackers. So, I did actually work while I was in school when my student loan money was running low. I had a job with DoorDash, so I would deliver food to people. I would not say that earned me a whole lot of money, but it was something that I could do on my 2-hour block of free time that I would have here and there.
Yeah, you didn't lay out some of your Access Trax to get to the house, did you? Like to deliver whatever you got.
Oh, how funny. No, I didn't have deliveries typically on the beach at that time.
Yeah. Did you get into the field of OT in terms of like hands-on practice, or did you go straight into business, full speed ahead?
So when I was in OT school, I ended up starting the product invention, but I still graduated OT school and I still went full time into practicing as a clinician. So right out of school in 2017, I became a school-based and clinic-based pediatric OT.
Got you. What's your favorite thing out of the adaptive world that you've encountered so far? Do you have like a story or anything like that sticks out?
Yeah, I would say that in 2019, so last year, I had the opportunity to volunteer at the Hawaii Adaptive Surfing Championships.
Oh, nice.
And it was amazing. I'm actually, contrary to what people might think, I'm not a surfer. I just love adaptive surfers, and that was what the product was inspired for. So when we were out there in Hawaii, I had the opportunity to jump on a surfboard for the first time in my life in the beautiful warm water during the competition. So I actually got to paddle out with Coach Jen from Team Adaptive Maui, and she kind of taught me a little bit of the basics, and I paddled out during the junior adaptive heat. So with the Groms out there, and I was sitting on the board at the back of the waves, listening to these guys cheer each other on and encourage each other, and then just bomb into these waves. And I had never had that perspective before, and it was incredible.
All right. So I said you got a bunch of checks sitting there. You just won a FedEx small business grant. I saw you promoting that in social media. I was really excited for you. I know it's a ton of work. I mean, what's the grind to get these grants? Because we got listeners out there that are looking for grants all the time, whether it's a leg or a device, a chair, or whether you're that nonprofit getting off the ground, because we got a ton of nonprofit starters out here listening right now. What is that grind like? Because you're actually hitting those grants. You're actually getting them.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, like I mentioned before, you just really got to search out those grants, and there might be people in your community that know about a lot of grants or who are experts in grant writing. So become friends with those people, and they can kind of tell you what's going on in the grant world. But there's some really good ones out there for adaptive. And one of them I think is called the Awesome Grants, and
Sure.
You can Google that, and they have monthly. So every single month you can get $1,000, and there are different categories. So that's a good one. But really and truly, the secret of grant writing is, one, making sure that your mission aligns with what the grant's mission is and criteria, and then really telling your story. So be genuine, be open, tell your story, don't hold anything back, and you'll get some of those with a little bit of luck mixed in with your hard work.
All right, let's dive into the real then. Like in terms of like the real difficulties that were there, what's your biggest roadblocks that you've encountered, or what you may be encountering right now in terms of getting this off the ground?
Definitely the funding thing was a huge challenge. Having no money, being a student, not having a background in business or engineering for that matter. But, you know, if you find mentors that can help guide you through some of those things that you're not an expert in, you'll still make it, and you'll learn as you go, and you'll be appreciative of learning all the little aspects of things so that you have that in your back pocket. But just kind of going along, you know, you run out of money every once in a while. It's just the way it goes, and you have to be very persistent, and you have to have financial projections. You have to have a business plan, and you have to have a financial projections model that you can kind of go to every week, every month, and stay on top of that.
All right, we didn't even discuss your product yet. Like, I know your product, but like the people that are listening, they don't even know what you have, like what you've innovated. And so some of them don't. A lot of them might, especially the adaptive surf community. We have a good audience over there in Southern California. But what is this product anyways? Like, if you could summarize it quickly, what is it?
So Access Trax empowers people of all physical abilities to safely and easily access outdoor terrain like sand at the beach with our modular portable pathway solutions. So real quickly, the pathway is made up in its smallest piece, a 3 foot by 3 foot flat square durable panel that you can connect to each other like puzzle pieces with just hook and loop Velcro. So essentially you have these 3 foot squares that you can lay down over grass, sand, snow even, and it creates that stable surface so the people who use wheelchairs, walkers, baby strollers can get out onto the outdoor terrain.
So like, to get into this though even more, to kind of like peel the layers, like, where'd you grow up? Like, what made you care about this community? A lot of people don't give a shit about the community. Like, what made you care?
Yeah, I grew up here in San Diego, and I went to San Diego State University for college. And kind of what pushed me to become an OT, which spurred this whole thing, is that when I was just 15, about to go into high school, my mom unfortunately suffered a massive stroke. So she was paralyzed on the left side of her body, and went through a lot of therapy. And occupational therapy was one of those therapies. And I saw how that, you know, gave her back a lot of her independence. And so I wanted to be able to do that for people too, is help them get back to being as independent and active as they can after an unfortunate illness or injury.
Did you take on a role of caregiver for mom?
I did, yeah. So my father and I kind of had to help my mom a lot, obviously a lot more than before. She was young. She was only 52 when she had her stroke. Wow. So
how old were you?
I was 15.
Dang.
So
how is she?
She's doing a lot better now. Yeah. Okay, cool. So my parents moved to Palm Springs, so they're retired and all that. Yeah. So
Palm Springs is great, by the way, people listening. That's like a great town to visit. Don't sell it short except in like July. But other than that,
yeah, it's pretty hot.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's kind of what really influenced me to be in the healthcare field. And then obviously as an OT, I certainly care about lots of different populations of people, and also helping them be independent and active.
Top 3 adaptive athletes. You're on the spot now. Give me at least one. Go.
I have to give a shout out to my friend Hunter. It's his birthday
Hunter
today.
Who?
Hunter Pochop. So he is 15 today. Happy birthday, Hunter.
Happy birthday,
he's
Hunter.
a rad adaptive surfer. Yay. So he was there in Hawaii when we got to volunteer.
Yeah.
He's super rad. I would also have to say shout out to Elena Nichols. I mean, she is just, can I say badass? She's a badass.
Yeah, she's a badass for sure. Man, I mean, she's paving ways.
Yes. So definitely her. And then, I don't know, I'm definitely close with the adaptive surfing community. So I got to go back to Jose. I mean,
love Jose.
He's amazing. Just everything he's gone through and how positive he is, and how his mission to keep inspiring people to move on from unfortunate tragedies and find meaning and happiness in life. He's just rad.
That's it. You brought Jose up, so I'm just going to say this. Anybody listening, watching, if you want me to interview Jose now on video form, just let me know, because Jose is a super fun guy. I mean, this is the guy on the cover of Time magazine as a military dude, smoking a little bit of weed. So like he kind of rides different, you know what I mean? He does what he rides different in his chair and also in real life. So like he's an interesting guy. So we need to get him back on here, I think. But like this whole Access Trax thing, how much does it cost to do something like this? Like to purchase something like this? And also a lot of people are confused. They think it's limited to the beach. Actually, I saw some stuff that has nothing to do with the beach, which makes it really interesting. So like how much does it cost for a product like this for people watching?
Great question. Each 3 foot by 3 foot square mat is $68, and we ship internationally. So whether you're in South Africa or you're in San Diego, we can make that happen for you. And as you're alluding to, this isn't just for the beach. It was inspired by adaptive surfers' need to be on the beach, but it certainly has implications at your gravel driveway. Let's just say you just had an accident and you're on crutches for, a couple months or something, and you just hate slipping on that stuff, but you can have a portable pathway right there. You don't have to pour concrete everywhere. And then I'm really excited to see it expand in use over the snow.
It has a ton of uses. Word has it though, my research says that you've joined, like your personal life, you've recruited your home team to be involved in the sports. Your fiance is out there assisting now and at adaptive events. It's really interesting to see those impacts. Like is this like a family endeavor now?
Oh, it sure is now. Yep. Jeff is, yes, he's my fiance, and he was actually in the Navy as a Navy rescue swimmer. So he's very comfortable in the water, and I am not so much. So I said, you can go out there and get them out in the water. I will get them across the sand. So
dude, how does he, like, how does a rescue Navy swimmer from Texas meet you? Like, how'd you guys meet up?
That's a good story. So actually, it wasn't online dating, anything like that. I know in today's world that's super common, but it was through mutual friends. So he got out of the Navy in 2015, and we were both living in Pacific Beach, and we didn't know each other. And one of my really, really good friends was at the time dating his best friend who was living with him. And when I went to her birthday dinner downtown San Diego in December of 2015, he showed up, and at the time he had this big beard. He was wearing a beanie with a big old puffy jacket.
I'm so jealous of his hair.
Oh yeah. Oh, he cut it. He
has a gorgeous amount of hair, because I lost my hair. I'm every bit of 39. My daughters make fun of me all the time, and I saw that, and I was like, that's.
I'm even jealous of his hair. Are you kidding me? Like, it's amazing, thick hair. Anyways, so I see him and I'm like, who is this guy? I could barely see his face, and I don't know, it just clicked, and we were inseparable since the first day we met, basically. It was so cool.
Yeah. Now, are you going to recruit like aunts and uncles and friends too to come join out on the events? Like
heck yes.
Yeah, word has it you bring a home team now to show up to these things. So like a lot of, people talk about it. It does mean a lot to people, it means a lot to the adaptive community to see that. Let's jump into another thing dealing with the adaptive community. What in terms, like, we picked out your favorite athletes, but like, what was one of those moments that like touched you? Like one of those things that you saw, one of those like experiences. It doesn't have to be in sports, because this adaptive thing is well beyond that. What is something that really stands out to you? It doesn't have to be your favorite, just something you think of.
I think that when going to all of these adaptive surfing events, or just adaptive events in general, you see how tight-knit the community is, and that they all just love each other and support each other, even if they're competing against each other. And that camaraderie is so contagious and inspiring, and you just want to be around them all. I mean, every time I go to an event with, I'll throw it out there, Masa from Japan. He's Masa, like everybody's so happy to be around him, and he's just like hype man, just like Jose, like so yes, like go, just loving it. And I can't get enough of that. I mean, I don't have the competitive surfer gene, but I will always be there just supporting them. And running down the beach to help get the beach chair to them, or running them down the beach in their wave ski to get them out there. Like, I'm there to support them. And that's super rad.
Where are you going with like All Access Trax? I mean, it's really all access, but where are you going with Access Trax? Like, what is the future? And then what's your plans? Like, outside of that, what are you going to do?
I think that for Access Trax, the future is continuing to make positive partnerships and relationships with organizations around the world, because I don't want this to just be the hidden gem in the United States. You know, we've got outdoor terrain everywhere and adaptive people in sports everywhere. And I want to see that and help that grow. So we have Access Trax in South Africa, in Japan, in Costa Rica, Canada, Mexico, and we're just going to keep going from there, baby. I mean, it's just, it's so cool to be able to say that I get to talk to and help people from everywhere.
All right. You said you weren't a competitor in the adaptive realm. You're obviously a competitor in a business realm. Should we talk some trash to your competitors right now? What should we do here?
I think aside from trash talk necessarily, I would just say that, you know, every product is good in certain circumstances, but I have to say, and yes, I'm biased, but I do think that Access Trax is good in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah, shots fired. It's a really reasonable price. That's one of the reasons why I reached out to, is that I have friends with spinal cord injuries, for instance, that are building wheelchairs for like the cost. He's very open, like $270 a chair or something, and he sells them for $500. Literally an off-road chair. You're like, how do you even do this, dude?
Right.
It's like, but hearing that there's no gouging, there's nothing, like, it was really cool. But most of all, hearing that like you have this very trusting relationship with the community you work around is really impressive. And we have so much politics that surrounds the adaptive world, especially, but it's any world that surrounds it. But the model you have is there, following you. You do have Beach Trax as your Instagram up there, you know what I mean? But it is Access Trax now. So like, best ways to follow you, it seems like Instagram, you're really engrossed in there. Facebook, are you out there too?
Yeah, you can look us up, Access Trax, on Facebook. And then of course our website, which is accesstraxsd.com.
Yeah. What do you think of like strollers on it? Like moms with strollers? Like you can,
100%. Whenever we go to set up for an event, like last year in September, we were at La Jolla Shores for the VA Summer Sports Clinic surfing, and it was set up for 6 days. I wasn't even done laying this stuff down, and moms with strollers, people with beach carts, like people just walking, they're like, oh, it's a natural pathway and it makes sense. It's easier for anybody on the sand.
Yeah, we were at the beach a lot, you know, my wife and and I remember it's just like we had two kids pretty close, like almost like a little less than 2 years apart. And so I just remember like strolling out, like pushing a stroller in the sand, literally throwing it, like just giving the shit up. And I'm like looking at that, and I'm like, I'm not in a wheelchair, but shit, if I had, I'm just laying down a couple tracks and getting to where we need to go with the stroller, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's a really innovative product. It speaks to a lot of things. And again, anybody listening, there's no money in this for me. This is just like pure relationship that's going on, talking about a good product, good price, awesome stuff. So Kelly Twichel, thank you for being here. Thank you for talking with us. This is like a really interesting interview to me. And so like, I can't wait to see where you're at. And eventually people that are watching, we're going to put it on video. If I'm out there in October and it happens, you're going to see this in action. I'll get in a wheelchair, or I'll get in a stroller, or whatever you want. And we'll get across this thing, and then like we'll get to the water, and then I'll almost drown, and then your fiance can come save me.
There you go.
Yeah. So like it comes full circle, but really thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always great to be able to share the story with people. So, and you do a great job. I'm excited to listen to more podcasts and episodes and watch them too and share.
Awesome. Thank you. Remember, go to livingadaptive.com to find previous episodes, show notes, contacts for guests like this guest, links to social media accounts, and a bunch of other good stuff. So go there. Peace.